In this video, we're diving into the glamorous world of Earth history. Think about rock formations, the continental drift period. Yes, it's dramatic as it sounds. And also the geologic Hub. It's like a historical runaway but for our planet. Understanding Earth's materials and processes is superficial. It's not just about knowing where our fabulous resources come from. And it's also about keeping ourselves and our world in top shape. By learning about different rock types and the Earth's crust, we're better equipped to handle natural disasters and global issues. What? Pretty hard. So, let's get into it and explore our Earth's history together. It's going totally amazing and enlightening, just like the perfect pair of shoes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Johan, and today we're diving into the fascinating, and let's be honest, somewhat confusing worlds of rocks and minerals. With me are two experts who help me help unravel this geological mystery. Katie and Christine. Welcome.
Thank you, Johan.
Hi, Johan.
Right then, let's get into it. Rocks. They're beneath our feet. In our gardens, in really boring museum exhibits, they're everywhere. Have you ever wondered how they were made? Or do they just like grow out of the ground when no one's looking?
Rocks are made of minerals, and you can identify rocks forming minerals by their chemical and physical properties. Things like color, crystals, from hardness, or even how they trace.
So, if I find a rock, I can just check if it's shiny or not, and that tell me everything I need to know.
Not exactly. Color is often not the most reliable clue because minerals can come in various colors. For instance, you might have a mineral that's supposed to be green, but it could be blue or even red depending on the appearance.
So, color is basically used as then. Like when I dyed my hair red and no one noticed.
Not always use this. Sometimes a mineral's color is tied to its major elements. Take malachite for example. It's always green and is there always green.
Ah, so those ones don't even bother trying to surprise you. Very considerate. What about these crystal shapes you mentioned? Do they have names like the squiggly one or the shiny pointed one?
Not exactly. Some minerals from the sea crystal shape, and those that help us identify them. For example, garnet crystals have viewable faces like what we call zero.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Sounds like a medical night or fancy big village. So some rocks are just showing off their perfect little faces. Like they're a version of supermodels.
You can say that.
Meanwhile, hardness is measured by seeing how easily a mineral can be scratched compared to other materials. It's a bit like testing how tough your shoes are by scraping them against different surfaces.
So minerals can either be as soft as butter or as tough your hands with sour juices. Got it. What about luster? Is that a fancy word for shiny?
Pretty much, luster is how light reflects on the mineral surface. We have metallic and non-metallic types. Metallic luster looks like metal, while non-metallic luster can look like glass or gum.
Cleavage, on the other hand, refers to how a mineral breaks along with certain plates, and straight is the color of the minerals when it's powdered. So cleavage is more about the mineral's internal structure, while straight is about how it appears when the ground down.
Oh, so cleavage is like a mineral's built in breaking point and straight is its true color and a bit of right? Got it. Now, onto the chemistry bit. Solubility and melting points. Do minerals dissolve like sugar in tea or do they just get very hot?
Stability is about how well a mineral dissolves in salt, like how some minerals can dissolve in acid. Melting point is just the temperature at which mineral turns into liquid.
Fascinating. It's like minerals have their own party politics. So moving into the How are they formed? Is it like making a cake where you mix stuff together and then you let it set?
Sort of. Sedimentary rocks form from sediments that settle out of water, ice, or air.
So, a sedimentary rock is essentially a rock made from a very long, very boring parting of tiny particles. So, there are three types of sedimentary rocks: plastic, organic, and emplastic. That's minerals in a nutshell, or in rock, I suppose. Who knew rock were so emotional, complex, and secretly prone to meltdowns? Sounds like my kind of crowd. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you, Kitty and Christina, for helping us make sense of rocks and minerals. I'm Johan Kong, and has been Kong on Earth.
Girls, I was just reading about how igneous rocks are formed. They come from magma that cools and solidifies, right?
Yeah, when magma cools slowly underground, it forms intrusive igneous rocks like granite. Look how large it is. It's kind of like how some foundations build communicating themselves.
Nailed it. And if the magma cools down quickly on the surface, you get an intrusive igneous rock formed like basalt and insignia, small crystal or even glass edges. It's like using a primer that sweats quickly and gives up flawless.
Girl, it's scary. I love how those different textures change a lot. Speaking of changes, how about metamorphic?
Well, metamorphic rocks come from consistent rocks that transform with heat and pressure. Instead of like my copper, they start as one type and gradually change something, similar how you might change your makeup with new techniques products.
So then, rocks go into the glow up. I guess just like our makeup can evolve. Rocks do too, and
Exactly, queen. Rocks, like our looks, can transform the naturally in the right conditions. This has been
let's bow.
See ya.
The following program is rated G. It is suitable for all audiences.
Welcome to Earth Uncovered, your go-to podcast for uncovering mysteries beneath our feet. I'm your host, Sof, and today we've got some fascinating insights into how rocks behave under stress, plus an in-depth look at the once controversial continental drift theory. Joining us today are our expert guests, Eliza and Juris, two geologists with years of field experience. Both of you, thanks for being here.
Thank you, be yourself. Thanks for having us.
Alright, let's dive in. So, stress, obviously. We know a little about stress in our lives, but rocks, as it turns out, feel stress too. Can you explain how rocks behave under different types of stress?
Sure. In geology, stress occurs with the force applied on a rock. It became with the three main forces: compressional, natural, and shear stress. Let's start with compressional stress, which occurs when rocks push together. This type of stress is most common on convergent plate boundaries, where Earth's tectonic plates collide. When rocks experience compressional stress, they can either fold, like when you see mountain ranges, or break apart, creating faults.
So it's like rocks getting squeezed into this snap again.
Exactly. Now we have tensional stress, which is the opposite. It stretches rocks apart. This happens a lot at divergent plate boundaries, like at the mid-Atlantic ridge, where the Earth's crust is being pulled apart, and new oceanic crust is being formed.
So that's how we get things like mid-ocean ranges. Very cool. What about shear stress?
Shear stress occurs when rocks lie across one another horizontally. This is the type of stress we see in mountains or mountains. Like the San Andreas Fault in California. When rocks experience shear stress, they often fracture, causing earthquakes. The rocks don't just smash into each other. They grind and slide along, which causes a lot of friction.
You can only imagine the amount of energy released when those rocks finally break loose. That's where earthquakes come into play, right?
Exactly. And that's why shear stress is often linked to fault lines and seismic activity. The Earth is under constant stress and it's always finding ways to relieve that tension, sometimes violently.
It's some heavy stuff, but totally fascinating. Alright, let's shift topics now to something equally mind-blowing. The continental drift theory. Alfred Wegener first proposed it, but it didn't gain immediate acceptance. Why is that?
Great question. When one introduced the idea in the 19,000s, people were skeptical because it couldn't explain how continents actually do. But over time, more evidence came to light. Of course, people was the jigsaw life of the continents. If you see all the coastlines of South Africa and America, they look like they could fit together almost perfectly, like a puzzle pieces.
That's such a striking visual. The flat sheet coastlines alone didn't have been enough to convince scientists, right?
Exactly. Another major piece of evidence came from fossils. Fossils of the same species, like the land reptile Blestosaurus, were found on continents that are now separated by oceans. For example, Blestosaurus fossils have been found in Africa, India, and Antarctica, which suggests these land masses were once connected, allowing species to grow freely between them.
So the fossils were like breadcrumbs, leading back to a time when the continents were together. It's pretty convincing. But what about the rocks themselves? I've heard there's a lot to learn from studying them.
That's right. Geologists also found natural rocks formation in continents. For instance, the ancient rocks, outcrops, and craters of Eastern South America and West Africa are over 80,000 billion years old, working together make a line of continent. These pagans were part of the same age in landmass before the continent drifted apart.
It's some solid evidence, literally. And I know there's even more evidence when we talk about climate and action glaciers.
Yes, the evidence from climate is another group. Scientists found rocks from ancient glaciers in places that are now near the equator, like Africa and South America. The only logical explanation is that these regions were once located closer to the poles, where glaciers could form. This helped prove that the continents moved through different climate zones over millions of years.
It's like the continents were on a massive road trip through time. And finally, there's magnetic polarity evidence. Can you explain how that fits into the puzzle?
Absolutely. When volcanic rocks form, they contain iron-rich minerals that align with the Earth's magnetic fields. As the rock pulls these minerals locked in the directions of the magnetic. By studying these rocks, scientists found that rocks of the same age on different continents pointed to the same magnetic pole. But the pole wasn't in the same place as the wasteland magnetic. This showed that not only had the continents moved, but the Earth's magnetic field has shifted as well.
Wow! So it's like rocks have their own built-in compass that tells us where they were millions of years ago. That's amazing. Well, the law is time. And Charlize, thank you so much for breaking all of this down for us. Rocks under stress, continents on the move. It's incredible to think how dynamic our planet is.
It's been a pleasure, Sam. The Earth is always changing, and there's still so much more.
That's why we keep exploring. Thanks again, Eliza and Charlize, for joining us today. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to another episode of Earth and Power. Keep your curiosity alive.
I think this is the right place.
Welcome, young folks. Aren't you guys curious about your future or the end of your chance for your life? So, you guys are in the right place. How may I help you?
I'm sure this is the right place. I mean, I don't think you can help with our research. We're looking for a professional who studies great humans.
Hey, I was once a geologist during my younger years. Now, sit here and bask me in. This wisdom of mine never failed at once, trust me.
Even if it's about the different results of the movements, please.
As far as the safety, I appreciate it though. Let's start with picking 4 cards here. No, I'm just kidding. Let's get into our topic. You two want to know about the great forces beneath our feet, the movement of Earth's plates, the very foundation of the world we live on.
Yes, what happens when these plates move?
Many things, my dear students. Let's begin with seafloor spreading. This occurs at divergent plate boundaries where tectonic plates are pulling apart. When this happens, new oceanic crust is formed at places like the mid-Atlantic ridge and slowly moves away from the ridge over time.
So, the seafloor is growing there?
Exactly. The Earth is always creating new crust in these areas.
And mountains, how do they form?
Mountains arise when two plates converge or collide. The pressure can cause the plates to either fold or fracture, pushing the land upwards. The most magnificent example is the Himalayas in Asia, where two massive plates continue to press against each other.
That must be a powerful collision.
Oh, it is. The mountains we see today are the result of millions of years of these collisions.
What about earthquakes? Are they caused by plates too?
Indeed. Earthquakes occur when plates lie past each other at transform boundaries. This movement creates stress in the rocks, and when the stress exceeds the rock strength, they break and shift, forming fault lines. The sudden shifts release energy, which we feel as earthquakes.
So, fault lines are just rocks probably sliding.
Exactly. The plates build up stress until they can no longer hold, and that's when the land shakes.
So the Earth is constantly changing because of these movements.
Yes, with every one of these movements, seafloor spreading, mountain building, and the creation of fault lines is a result of the plates shifting or shaping the land.
We've been hearing about how scientists figure out the age of rocks, but it's a bit confusing. How do they know?
The age of rocks, one of the great mysteries of the earth. There are two main ways we can determine their age: relative dating and absolute dating. Let me explain them both.
What's the difference between those two?
Well, let's start with relative dating. This method doesn't give us exact age of the rock, but it helps us figure out the order of events that took place. By studying stratigraphy, the layers of rocks, we can see which layers are older and which are younger. Think of it like a stack of papers. The one at the bottom was placed there first, so it's the oldest, and the one at the top is the youngest.
So it's like reading history through years.
Exactly. By looking at the arrangement of these layers, we can understand the sequence of events, but not their exact age. It's all about figuring out what happened first and last.
But what if we want to know the actual age of the rock?
For that, we use absolute dating. This method is much more precise. Scientists use clocks within the rocks. No, not regular clocks. These clocks are made from elements inside the rocks that decay over time, like an hourglass counting down.
So they can measure the time that's passed since the rock formed.
Exactly. With radiometric dating, scientists can calculate how many millions or even billions of years have passed since the rock was formed. This is how we determine the actual age, down to the number.
So, with relative dating, we can tell the order, but with absolute dating, we get the actual age.
That's right. Relative dating tells us the order of events, like reading the pages of a book. And absolute dating gives us the dates, like putting a timestamp on those events. Together, these methods reveal the deep history of our planet.
It's amazing that rocks can tell us so much about Earth's past.
Indeed. Every layer, every fossil, every rock holds a story waiting to be uncovered. With these tools, we piece together the ancient puzzle of the Earth's history. Now that I've helped you guys can go already. I'm happy to see he has studied very well.
Hey guys, it's us again. I'm currently struggling at how index fossils work. Can you break it down for us?
I mean, sure. Imagine index fossils are like the VIPs of the world. They show up at exclusive time periods, so when we find them, we know exactly what era they were partying in.
Ah, so they're like the party crashers of geology, always showing up at specific events.
Exactly. And the geologic timescale, think of it as the ultimate events planner schedule. It maps out all the big parties like the age of dinosaurs and all the smaller gatherings like the epoch of mammals.
So, if the fossils are guests, the time scale is the guest list.
You got it. And by looking at this guest list, we can figure out who showed up when and what kind of epic events went down on Earth's history.
Being able to have knowledge about the materials in the process of Earth, where minerals, rock, soil, energy, and water will help people and animals to survive. No matter how old our planet is, it remains from the past will always live as part of our daily lives. We do hope that you've learned a lot from our video, from different types of rock to the theories and great movements that shape our Earth today. Our history shaped us today. This may be the end of the video, but our journey will continue here. Geology Hub! Keep learning, wondering, and living in a fun way.
Ano? Ay, ulit nga.
Sabihin pag okay na.
Where minerals, rock, soil, energy, and water will help you.
Then now everything I need to know. Or the any chance, right?
No matter how old our planet